So for this video, we are on page 6, and we are starting with problem 17. I'm trying to get my drawing tools. Let's see. Oh, okay, I'm using the writing feature on the video recording thing, which I don't normally do, so hopefully this will work okay. So we're working with still graphs, but a little bit different today. So we know we have points, right, when we graph, and those are X and Y points. So we're going to take the information that they give us and try to find the missing piece. That's what really algebra is all about. Eventually, I can show you some tricks on the graphing calculator, but for today's lesson, we're just going to kind of keep it basic. We're going to practice some skills, some solving equations. So this is good in that we're looking at new stuff, but we're also practicing some old stuff. So problem 17 says, what is the y-intercept of the graph of the equation y equals 1/4 times x minus 2/3? Now, we've got some fractions in there, but that's okay. You have your calculator. For these problems today, this piece is very important. It says y-intercept. I have to move this down a little bit. Otherwise, I can't write good. So if you have a y-intercept, the important thing about that is your x value is 0 all the time. So if they tell you that, that means you can put a 0 in right here. So let me just take a second and write this equation a little bit bigger. Y equals 1/4 x minus 2/3. So if x is 0, right here, I'm going to rewrite this, but substitute a 0. Y equals 1/4 times 0 minus 2/3. Oops. I'm going to have lines everywhere here. So what you should do now, put that in your calculator. Remember, alpha x to get a fraction, 1/4 times 0. And this is a subtract symbol because it's in the middle of the problem, minus 2/3. And what do you get? So when you put this in the calculator, you end up with negative 2/3. Remember, negative and minus mean the same thing unless you're using the calculator. So our answer is letter A. Moving on down to problem 18. Get back here. What are the coordinates of the y-intercept in the graph of the equation y plus 3x equals 6? All right, there's that important word again, y-intercept. So what that means is we take the x number and substitute a 0 in there. So you don't have to, but I'm going to rewrite this down here. I think it's easier when there's no space. So this right here becomes a 0. Okay, I'm going to rewrite that. Y plus 3 times 0. So one small complication, the y isn't by itself over here. It says y plus 3 times 0 equals 6. Evaluate what you can. See how there's a 3 times 0 here? Put that in your calculator. And what do you get? You get 0. So this basically just goes away. So you get y equals 6. So there's only one answer that has a 6 in it. And remember, a point is an x point and a y point. X is 0, y is 6. Okay, number 19. Same idea. What is the y-intercept of the line whose equation is 3 times y equals 6 times x plus 12? When they give you a y-intercept, or say it's a y-intercept, what does that tell you that you can do? Right, you can take an x and substitute a 0. So right there. So I'm going to rewrite my problem. 3y equals 6x plus 12. So let's go green. 3 times y. So instead of a x, we're going to put a 0. 6 times 0 plus 12. Now you can evaluate this piece by piece, or you could put that whole thing in your calculator. 3y. 6 times 0 plus 12 gives you 12. Now, if you look here, this is an equation. We have to solve this. The y is not by itself. And this says 3 times y equals 12. So to get the y by itself, we have to do opposites. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. Because this right here is times. So that goes away. So we end up with y equals 4. Okay, number 20. What is the y-intercept of the line whose equation is y equals 7 times x plus 5? So they say y-intercept. What do you do when they say you have a y-intercept? Okay, so we put in x equals 0 in right here. So we have y equals 7 times 0 plus 5. Now in this equation, the y is already by itself, so you just have to evaluate. What is your answer? Y equals 7 times 0 plus 5 gives you 5. So if we kind of review, our first step, we substitute. And then here, we evaluated. We found the number. Sometimes you have to solve. So I'm going to put step 3, solve. Sometimes you don't have to. So in parentheses, I'm going to write if needed. You should also write this. Remember, you're getting credit for filling out your packet. Last one for this video. The graph of the equation the graph of the equation x plus 3 times y equals 6 intersects the y-axis at the point whose coordinates are, and you have options. I've lost my, there we go. Now this is just a different way right here, intersects the y-axis. They're talking about a y-intercept. So we're going to plug a 0 in for x, just like we've done before. Okay, I'm going to take that equation, and I'm just going to take a shortcut and put a 0 in where the x is. 0 plus 3y equals 6. So this 0 can pretty much go away. So now we have 3y equals 6. To get y by itself, divide both sides by 3, and you get a 2. So look at your options, A, B, C, D. Which one has a 2 in it? Letter A. What you're going to do now that goes with this video is finish up to problem number 30. So you're going to do problems 22 through 30. Remember to ask us for help if you need help, and we'll check your work and see how you're doing.